Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. This is episode number 16 in the scripting series. Today we're going to be looking at repeating, what it is, what it's useful for, and all that good stuff. So let's get into it. So in the previous video we looked at while loops. Do recommend you check that out if you have not already, because we will be referring to while loops in the video and comparing them to what repeating is. So repeating is a way of well, it's in the name, repeating code over and over again. Just like a while loop, repeats code forever until a certain condition has been met. It's very similar actually. So what it will do is if you write out repeat and then after that you need to write until. That's the syntax. So we say repeat until, and these two words are basically what you need to create a repeat statement. So what it's going to do is you're going to have your code in between these two words, and this code here is going to just keep on repeating forever and ever, well, on and on, let's say, until a condition is met. So your condition is going to go here. So the condition, like we said in the while loops, is the thing that needs to be met, the thing that needs to be true. The statement that the script is going to check every time that this loops to see whether it's true or false, and if it is true, if the condition is true, it's going to stop repeating. If the condition is false, it's going to keep on repeating because that condition hasn't been met yet. So let me give you a few examples here. So here is our while loop, which we have looked at before in the previous video, and the while loop will firstly check the condition. The first time it runs, it's going to check this condition. It's going to say, okay, is the number of objects in this folder called parts? If you're not sure about what this means, you don't need to know about it just yet, but I'm just going to simplify it for you. What this highlighted piece of code does is it basically checks the number of objects inside this folder. So this hashtag will give us the number of objects stored in this parts folder. Currently it is 0, but if I was to put this script inside the folder, there would now be 1 object inside the folder, so this would be 1. So all it's doing is checking the number of objects or children in that folder. So in this example, the condition is checking whether the number of children in this folder is less than 2, and it's going to keep on repeating this. It's going to keep on looping through, and it's just going to keep on printing not enough parts in the folder if it's less than 2, and that's what it's going to do. And let's just have that wait in there so that it doesn't crash our script. Now if we were to run this, you can see it just keeps on printing out not enough parts in the folder because there's not enough parts. There needs to be, let's just have a look here, it needs to be over 2 for it to break this while loop. So let's go ahead and put 2 objects in here. It doesn't matter what the objects are. I know we said parts, but in fact we will just put parts because that's what we told it to print for. So we'll do a mesh part and another part, and there we go. Boom, it stopped printing out. You can see it's gone purple. That means that the while loop is broken, whatever, and the x818 is no longer increasing. So we know that when 2 parts or 2 objects were inserted into that folder, it was enough to break the while loop, because the next time it went around, every 0.03 seconds, it checked, okay, how many objects are there in this folder, and there were 2. So 2 is not less than 2, so it would be enough to meet the condition. So the condition was indeed false because there was not less than 2 objects in the folder, so it just broke out of the while loop. So that is the while loop. Now the repeat version, if you're doing repeating, it's quite similar. Now let's bring them both up and compare them. So down here we've got the repeat version, and this is using the repeat statement, which we're learning about today. Now the main difference in the repeat statement is that it's going to run at least once. The code inside of here is guaranteed to run the first time, regardless of this condition, because it's ordered so that we're firstly saying repeat, so we're telling the script to execute the following code. Okay, so it's going to execute it the first time. And remember, scripts go line by line. So we're starting off on line 1, saying repeat, alright. And then we're in the middle of this repeat statement now. We've gone straight into the repeat statement. So now we're on line 2, and we're printing out not enough parts in the game. Or in the folder, I should say. So it's printing that out, and then we're doing the wait. And now we're on line 4, and on line 4 is where we do the condition check. So we don't do the condition check at the start, like the while loop does. If when the game started, it checks straight away the number of parts in the folder, okay, because it's the first line in the while loop. So if there is more than 2, or 2, if there's not less than 2 objects in the folder, then it's just not going to run the while loop. It's not going to run any of this code. It's just going to basically skip to the end of to the next line of code, which isn't in the while loop, so it would go straight here. Whereas in the repeat, it's going to print out not enough parts in the folder. So even if you did have enough parts in the folder, it would print out not enough parts in the folder on the first time, because the script has been told to start a repeat statement. So it's gonna do this code, and then it's gonna check if there's enough parts in the folder. So you could have enough parts in the folder to begin with, and the script's still going to say there's not enough parts in the folder. So if you had some code that you only wanted to run if a certain condition was met, it's not a good idea to use repeat, because it's going to run this code straight away. If you want this code to only run when the condition has been met, you don't want to use this, you want to use a while loop. So that's the main difference between them. Now let's check out the repeat version and see what happens when we do use that, just to show you. So let's disable these other 2, and we're now running off with this script. So what should happen is it should print out not enough parts in the folder. It should keep on printing that out until there's let's say until yes, we'll do greater than 1, because remember, we are wanting to keep printing this out until there is over 1 amount of parts in the game. So when there's 2 or more parts in the folder, we want to basically get out of this repeat, because we've hit our condition. We want this to keep repeating until there are enough parts in the folder, until there's at least 2 parts in the folder. So when we say greater than 1, well, it has to be 2 or more, doesn't it? So it can't be equal to 1, it has to be greater than 1. So let's check this out, see what happens. So you can see again, it is just repeating over and over again, not enough parts in the folder. I do hope I'm not getting you all confused here with all this enough parts in the folder. Basically, we're just checking how many children there are in the folder, and it's going to keep repeating these 2 lines of code until there are 2 or more parts in the folder. As you can see down here, we've got the little incrementer down here, which is going up very, very quickly. And if we do go ahead and insert 2 parts into the folder now, so we've got 1 in there, let's duplicate it, and bam, it has exited the repeat statement, because it has kept looping around, and until there has been 2 parts, so every 0.03 seconds it's been checking, and eventually it has detected, okay, there are 2 parts in the folder, and we wanted it to be greater than 1, and that condition has been met. So what we're saying is repeat this code over and over again until this condition here has been met. If this condition hasn't been met, keep on repeating. Don't carry on the script, don't get to line 6, don't print this out until this condition here has been proven true, until it is true. So when it repeats, we know that this condition is going to be false, because it's never going to be true until the repeat stops. So, sorry, the repeat will only stop when this condition is true. When it's false, it's just going to keep repeating. So that is what our repeat statement does. And let's just give you another example here. Now, because you'll be thinking, okay, that's cool, yeah, you can check the number of parts in a folder, but what is this useful for? I mean, what is the point of just using a repeat for this? When am I going to use this in my games? So, one of the most used I guess, well, what repeats a good example of is kind of like checking for the parts in the folder, but for checking if there's enough players in your game. So for example, again, if we use the hashtag method, which again you don't need to know about, but what it does is it gives us a number of things, so number of parts in the folder, number of players in the game. What we can say is repeat, and we could do print not enough players in the game, and we want this to keep on repeating. We want our wait as well, so that it doesn't crash the script, so it doesn't just keep looping really quickly until it crashes itself. We need a delay to stop it from overloading, so we want to just keep repeating this, and we don't want to move on, basically. So if we had some code which is for the rest of the game, maybe like intermission, you know, or teleporting players, basically the game stuff, right? We don't want that to start until there is enough players in the game. So we can say until game.players : get players. This gives us a table of players in the game, and then we can use the hashtag to count how many players are in that table. So it's giving us the number of players in the game. Again, you don't need to know this yet, but all you need to know is that it gives us a number of players currently in the game, and we can say greater than or equal to a number. So if you want at least 2 players in the game to start, we can just set that to 2. And what's going to happen is it's going to keep repeating this code until this condition, which is whether there are 2 or more players in the game, has been met. When it has been met, the rest of the code down here will execute, because it will move on. Because currently, what it will do is it will enter the repeat statement, it will print this, it will wait, and then it will check, okay, is the condition being met? How many players are in the game? And if there's 1 player in the game, it's going to say, okay, so 1 is not greater than or equal to 2. So this condition is false. This condition hasn't been met. So we're going to go around again. We're going to go back up to the repeat. We're going to repeat this code again. We're going to print it out. We're going to wait. Okay, we're going to check again. Is the condition met? And somebody has joined the game this time around. So it is going to see that there are now 2 players in the game, and it is equal to 2. So it can be greater than or equal to. So there's 2 players in the game. This condition has now been met, and we can break out of this repeat loop. So it's not going to repeat over again. It's not going to go back to the start. It's just going to break out, and it's going to move on to line 6 and do the rest of the code if you have any code underneath it. So let's just do a print saying we can start the game now, and let's check it out. We actually need to run this in place in a server for this to work, so that we can add players into the game. And just so that you can see this actually happening, I'm changing the wait to check every 4 seconds. So instead of 0.03 seconds, what's going to happen is the 2 players are going to enter quite quickly. There's not going to be much delay between them joining, so you won't be able to see the effect. So this should help us in being able to see it happen when it's happening live. So let's start the server. I'm also going to change it to 4 players so that we can see it happening with more players joining as we go along. Okay, so here we go. The server is being created. Let's just head over here. Okay, so we couldn't really see it happening, but we can head back to the output and see what's happening here. So what's happened is it has printed out not enough players in the game for 3 times. So every 4 seconds it printed that out. So it lasted 12 seconds before the game could start. And then when it went round again in the repeat loop, it saw that there were now 4 players in the game. So it broke out of that repeat loop and it printed out we can start the game now. So when it printed that out, we obviously know that it stopped the repeat loop, and it just carried on with the rest of the script, so it printed that out. So that is the repeat statement, which is very useful in scripting. It's a good alternative to the while loop if you don't need to use that, but you will be using it a lot more, not just for things like this. There are many more use cases which you'll find out as you go along, and it's something that you do need to know. So the main difference between a repeat statement and a while loop is that the repeat will execute the code. It will run the code in between the repeat and the until once, so it will repeat it no matter what the outcome of the statement is, of the condition, because it always comes first. It comes before the condition, so it's going to run once, then it's going to check the condition, and if the condition is true, sorry, if the condition is false, if it hasn't been met yet, then it's going to repeat it again. But if it is true, then it is going to have run that one time, whereas with a while loop, it is checking the condition first, so it will not run at all if the condition is false. And one other difference is that for a while loop, the condition has to be true for the code to execute inside of it, whereas in a repeat, the condition here actually has to be false for it to repeat again. Because when it is true, when it finally does become true, it's gonna stop, and it's gonna carry on the rest of the code. It's gonna stop the repeat, the looping of the repeat statement. So that is the repeat statement, repeat loop, compared to the while loop. So I hope that video was useful. Please do share the video with anybody that you think will find it useful. If they're also learning Roblox scripting, don't forget to give it a like so that I know you're enjoying this one. I know a lot of people gave quite a lot of likes on the while loop video, which made me want to do this one because you guys really like that one. Don't forget to subscribe as well for more Roblox scripting content, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, bye.